Sweeny, and I'm the lead guitarist and vocalist of the band Kind of Kind.
Tell us about the band Kind of Kind. When was it established?
A year and a half or so ago. It was my birthday, and I was like, "Listen, Ma, we gotta throw these drums in the basement, and I gotta start having band practice down here." And she was cool with it, so it started, I guess, on my birthday. 2015. We've recorded our first full-length album, which is on iTunes, Spotify, and even Groove Shark. Link in the description. But yeah, and we've been playing all around town. We're just trying to get our names out there and try to grow as a band as well as people.
Mm-hmm. Do you believe your music has a lot of originality?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've heard people say that they've never heard anything like it, and I kind of feel the same way. It's like, it feels strange, like, having people, like, come up to you and say, like, "Whoa, that was crazy." Like, it's weird, but it's, it's also fulfilling in a sense.
Do you believe Rochester has a lot of originality?
Oh, for sure. Yes. Oh my God. In so many aspects, the arts, music, people just doing their own thing. We've worked with the guys at House of Guitars, and they've helped us set us up with like all of our equipment, and we've also just worked with a lot of bands. And I hate to be like very broad and vague, but there are so many bands that we've worked with. Continental Drift we just played with last Saturday. There's a band called Henrietta that was not from Henrietta, New York though. It was weird, but they were really good. Idle Bloom from Nashville. Tim Avery at the Bug Jar, Sage Keeber with the Entertainment Collective. He put us on a lot of shows, so we're appreciative of that.
Where do you write your music?
Oh shit! I mean, it's a mix of things. Either I'll be, at work and I'll just be like humming a little ditty, or I'll just be like kind of like composing things musically, and I won't really worry about notation or the actual composition of it until I get home later. But I usually write my music in my basement, and it's kind of become my office per se. Mm-hmm. Where? I mean, pretty high is where. I'd get fucking stoned and just, I wouldn't smoke too much, but I'd keep it to a minimum just so I can like kind of have coherent thoughts and move in a creative direction and just try to add new things to the things that I've already created. And I try to make music that's just pleasing to my ear at least, before I let it out. It all starts with me just picking up my guitar, and it comes down to just like really fucking around, and like, because if you don't experiment with yourself, then you're not gonna be able to figure what you want to do out. If you're stuck doing the same cookie cutter like chords and like shapes, and it can kind of get boring, not only to the audience but to yourself. But I guess everybody has their own prerogative when it comes to that kind of stuff, but I definitely like to be experimental. I know my drummer and I, for example, we're very sleepless. We're up till 5, 6, 7 a.m. in the morning usually, if I'm not working on, you know, my music or my passions, I'll try to like go do something with myself, or I'll try to actually sleep, which is pretty good for me. But usually I will you know, try to do something where I'm active and I'm like mentally stimulated. Because if I'm not mentally stimulated, you know, I tend to like get a little. I kind of shut down a little bit. Staying up late at night, I do burn out like after like 4 or 5 hours of practicing just by myself. You know, it gets to a point where I'm just like, all right, I gotta set it down. But at that point, I'm like content. You know, I'm like I've kind of like let my mojo flow, and then I just kind of like let it go. It's kind of like the Buddhist idea of a mandala. You know, like you create these things, and sometimes they'll never be recorded. Sometimes, you know, they'll never be written down. It's like, imagine a song you've never heard before. You can't, because you've never heard it before. I also do things not that don't have to do with music. Like I like to go skateboarding, and that in a way is like another form of like complete self-expression in a way, because like you don't really have to skate for anyone else but yourself, and it's just like, you know, you're active, you're sweaty, you're getting dirty, you're trying what you want to try, and at the same time, you know, you see something that you're like, I'm not gonna do this, but you know, it's just like it's fun to do and fun to take your mind off of these things.
Can you describe the music culture in Rochester?
Well, actually, right now, music culture in Rochester is it's blooming, I want to say, because the market itself, like, and I'm speaking music, like, as a whole, at least in the States, you know, it's very saturated, you know, like, everybody and their grandma seems to be putting out a mixtape at this point, but the truth is, with Rochester, I feel like a lot of the artists they have their own niche, and they have their own place, and they have their own like group of bands that they like to play with, and they have their own following, and so it's like it's not like everybody is like playing the same fucking, you know, four chords, you know, everybody, like, people have their own I don't know, people have their own band, pretty much. It's like, you're not going to be able to come to Rochester and find something that, or you're going to be able to come to Rochester and find something that you like, you know? It's like, there's music here for everyone. There's like fucking metal, there's punk, there's reggae, there's ska, there's, you know, there's indie rock, there's pop rock, there's, you know, there's like, I mean, there's a bunch of shit there's drone music, there's like just noise rock, there's, you know, hip hop, you know, all of these great like new artists growing in the city, and I mean, it does become a little bit stressful for a musician, because like everybody wants, you know, their piece of the pie, and everybody wants to like blow up and be big and famous, but like I feel like the more that they focus really on their own music, and like with their people, and people that, you know, support them and, you know, care about them, you know, the happier they will be as artists, because, you know, it doesn't matter if they're going to be playing shows for crowds of thousands, you know, they could be playing a show by them fucking selves, they could be playing a show just for like a crowd of 12 people, and they'll still fucking kill it. Why? Just because they love their passion so much, and I have nothing but respect for that. I honestly think that, you know, the dream moment has already came. Like, we recorded an album, and to me, that was like one of the most fulfilling moments I've ever had. Like, just putting out like a body of work that like people can listen to and people can enjoy, because I feel like a lot of the time people are always worried about being forgotten, but you you know, when I hear music, I always think like music and art, in a sense, it's like almost infinite. I'm sure my ultimate goal of like, you know, I'm sure it'll be achieved like much longer after I'm gone. But you know, I'm fine with that. Like I don't mind whatsoever. It's fine. I'm already doing it right now. Like I'm already living my dream. It is at the same time a struggle. I want everyone to be able to live their own dream to the fullest. They kind of just can start to see like, wow, you know, they're progressing and they're doing something with themselves. And you know, and it's hard because like there are going to be obstacles that we're gonna have to overcome. Like I know, for example, my bassist is gonna be moving to New York City in February, and I know it's gonna be painful, but at the same time, he also has his own dream that, you know, has to be, you know, lived. Nothing but good things are bound to happen.
DJ Dan Sweeny from Kind of Kind, signing off.